The American presidential election. It's a spectacle watched by millions, a battle of ideas, and a cornerstone of democracy. But have you ever wondered how it all began? How did a system designed over 200 years ago shape the way we elect our leaders today? Buckle up, because in this video, we're diving deep into the history of American presidential elections, a journey of evolution, controversy, and game-changing moments. To understand the history of presidential elections, we have to go back to the very beginning, the late 18th century. The first ever election took place in 1788 to 89, and it was an easy win for none other than George Washington. But here's the catch. There was no actual popular vote like we have today. The system was simple. Electors were chosen by state legislatures, and they picked the president. Washington won unanimously, not once, but twice. He was basically the Michael Jordan of early American politics. His presidency set a precedent, and his farewell speech even warned against political parties, a warning that, well, America didn't quite follow. Fast forward to 1800, and we got our first taste of real political drama. Thomas Jefferson and Aaron Burr tied in the Electoral College, throwing the decision to the House of Representatives. After 36 rounds of voting, Jefferson finally won. Talk about a nail-biter. This election led to the 12th Amendment, which changed how the president and vice president were elected, making sure running mates didn't accidentally become rivals. By the 1820s, America started embracing a more democratic system. Enter Andrew Jackson, the first true man of the people president in 1828. For the first time, more states allowed white men without property to vote. It was the birth of mass democracy. Elections became rowdier and more personal. Candidates slung insults like modern-day Twitter beefs. And let's not forget, Jackson's inauguration party got so wild, the White House had to be cleared out with tubs of punch. Imagine a modern president throwing a house party for the entire country. Yeah, it was that crazy. Then came 1860, a defining moment. Abraham Lincoln won, sparking the Civil War. The stakes were high, an election that quite literally divided the nation. The debates between Lincoln and Stephen Douglas were legendary, showcasing the power of public speaking in swaying voters. But post-war, big changes came. The 15th Amendment in 1870 granted black men the right to vote. However, that right was often suppressed for nearly a century through poll taxes, literacy tests, and intimidation. Speaking of major changes, let's talk about 1920, a game changer. The 19th Amendment was passed, and for the first time, women across America could vote. It took nearly 150 years to get there, but democracy was expanding. The election of 1920 saw millions of women casting their ballots, marking a new era in political participation. This momentous change redefined American democracy, proving that progress, though slow, was inevitable. As the 20th century continued, technology began shaping elections in ways people had never seen before. The first televised presidential debate in 1960 changed the game forever. John F. Kennedy looked confident and charismatic, while Richard Nixon, well, let's just say he looked like he needed a nap. This debate proved that appearance and presentation mattered just as much as policies. If you ever wondered why candidates invest so much in media training and image consulting, this was the moment that made it crucial. By the 1980s, TV ads became powerful tools to sway voters. Ronald Reagan's Morning in America ad was a masterclass in emotional appeal, making voters feel hopeful about the future. Negative ads also became a staple. Candidates now had to be careful about every word and action, knowing that their opponents could use it against them in a 30-second attack ad. And then came the internet. By the 2000s, the digital age took over elections. Websites, emails, and online fundraising became crucial strategies. But nothing changed the political landscape quite like social media. Platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube became battlegrounds for candidates where viral moments could make or break a campaign. Suddenly, a single tweet could shift the entire conversation. No history of American elections is complete without controversy. Remember 2000? Florida's hanging chads threw the election into turmoil, leading to a Supreme Court decision that gave George W. Bush the presidency. This election was so close that it all came down to a recount in Florida. But after weeks of legal battles, the Supreme Court stepped in and stopped the recount, handing Bush the victory over Al Gore. Barack Obama became the first black president of the United States, breaking barriers and inspiring millions. His campaign was revolutionary, utilizing social media and grassroots organizing to mobilize young voters like never before. The energy of his campaign reshaped how candidates engaged with the public, setting a new standard for digital campaigning. And most recently, 2020 saw the highest voter turnout in U.S. history. It was a heated election held during a global pandemic, which meant voting looked very different. Mail-in ballots surged, early voting numbers shattered records, and for the first time, election results took days to finalize. It was a reminder that democracy is always adapting to challenges. But what does the future hold for American elections? With the rise of artificial intelligence, deepfake technology, and misinformation spreading online, voters need to be more informed than ever. Blockchain voting, ranked choice voting, and even digital campaigns in the metaverse could be the next frontier of election evolution. Another pressing issue is voter suppression and election security. Efforts to secure election integrity must be balanced with making voting accessible for all citizens. Debates over voter ID laws, gerrymandering, and accessibility to polling stations continue to shape the discourse around fair elections. Moreover, the role of third-party candidates is a topic of debate. While the two-party system dominates, figures like Ross Perot in 1992 and Ralph Nader in 2000 showed that third-party candidates could influence elections in significant ways. Could the future see a viable third-party contender breaking through the political landscape? From the days of Washington to the digital age, American presidential elections have been a roller coaster of change, drama, and progress. The system isn't perfect. Far from it. But it keeps moving forward, just like the country itself. Every election shapes the next, and each one tells a unique story about America's journey as a democracy. If you found this journey through history interesting, hit that like button, subscribe for more amazing content, and drop a comment below.